Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome once again to our just one chapter a day. Today is day 8. Yeah, 我们第八天了 halfway through lah. At least for some of the people halfway through for the thing. So as usual, the objective of today's session is to kickstart reading habit, personal accountability, shares knowledge through summary, improve our public speaking skill, at the same time able to summarize within a given time. So as usual, Andrea will be our timekeeper for today. So everybody will be given 3 to 5 minutes to share your title, author, your chapter number, topic, and also a key takeaway from your chapter. So with that, let me see. I stop sharing first. Okay, so today will be a bit special. We'll start off from Vera first. Vera, are you ready? We'll go Vera. After that will be Andrea, followed by Andrea, Marcus, Angela, then Vincent, and Sylvia.
Find the page, Russell.
Andrea, sorry, Vera and Vendra. Vera, are you ready? Okay, like Shiba.
Reading Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Very good.
For lesson 4, the history of Texas and the power of corporations. So there was this story with Robin Hood and his merry men. So his teacher thought there was a wonderful story about a hero who robbed the rich and gave to the poor, but his rich dad saw Robin as a crook instead of a hero. So he often hear, why don't the rich pay for it? The rich should pay more in taxes and give it to the poor. Yeah, because in reality is that the rich is not taxed, but it's the middle class and the educated upper income middle class who pays for the poor. So the rich dad explained that originally in England and America there was no taxes. Occasionally there was like temporary taxes to pay for wars. Then the king or the president will put the word out and ask everyone to chip in. Then taxes were, I don't know,
Taxes were levied. Is it levied? In Britain.
Yeah, levied.
Fight against Napoleon from 1799 to 1816.
I think you say this. Taxes initially were levied against the rich.
Taxes were initially levied against only the rich. He explained that his rich dad explained that the idea of taxes was popular and was accepted by a majority, telling the poor and the middle class that taxes were created only to punish the rich. Although it was intended to punish the rich, it ended up punishing the people who voted for it, the poor and the middle class. I don't understand that.
I don't understand.
I don't understand this.
Mary again. She says she don't understand.
No, I don't understand this.
Oh, this.
Okay,
Never
which
mind.
part?
The income statement one.
Okay, no worries. So I can just share the story inside there as well. Whatever you know.
If you work for money, you give the power to your employer. If money works for you, you keep the power and control it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay, very good. So just now I was mentioning about the tax. Tax originally was to punish the rich, but at the end of the day, it punished the poor and the middle class. You know why is that so? Huh?
Why?
Anyone know why is that so? Because the rich know how to generate more money. The middle class and the low income don't know how to generate money.
So they are being taxed instead.
Because if you think about it, everybody is being taxed, right? Okay. If let's say the rich tax more, I mean basically it's okay lah. But the thing is that even the poor and the middle class are taxed lesser. But if they are not able to generate additional passive income or additional income in that sense, right? It doesn't really benefit them. So it comes back to the just now the last statement that Vera made. What's the last statement?
If you work for money, you give the power to employer. If money works for you, you keep the power and control it.
So the middle class and the poor, okay, work for money, whereas the rich let the money work for them. Okay. Anyway, it's very good.
In a way, the rich also got tax planning. They got their own tax planning. They got their own accountant to do their tax. So that's why they always fall within on their tax.
And at the same time,
there's
a lot of benefit for businessmen because they generate more working opportunity to employ more people. They are able to employ more people. So usually they will get some incentives for doing that. So they are creating job opportunity as well. Okay, so next up, can we how long did Vera go?
3.5 minutes.
3.5 minutes. Okay, next up we have Andrea, then followed by Marcus.
Okay, wait. I shift my Zoom. Okay. So today I'm at chapter 5. Start with why, Simon Sinek. Okay, so chapter 5's topic is clarity, discipline, and consistency. And he states that because initially we talked about start with why, so the leader of an organization has to clearly articulate the why in the organization. If not, he cannot expect the employees to know why they have to come to work. And it is also to inspire people, right? You have to start with why. So now we'll move on to the discipline of how. Okay, and understanding how, right? So once you know the why you do what you do, the question is how will you do it? And understanding how gives greater ability to hire people or find partners who will naturally thrive when working with you. Okay, so what makes it even more difficult for ourselves, right? We remind ourselves of the values by writing them on the wall as nouns. For example, integrity, honesty, innovation, communication. However, nouns are actually not actionable. They are things. You cannot build systems or develop incentives around these things. It is also nearly impossible to hold people accountable to nouns. So for values or guiding principles to be truly effective, they have to be verbs. So it is not, instead of integrity, you should say always do the right thing. So instead of innovation, we should say look at a problem from a different angle. So articulating our values as verbs, right, gives us clear idea. Telling people to have integrity doesn't guarantee that their decision will always keep customers or clients' best interest in mind. However, telling them to always do the right thing does. Okay, so the next will be consistency of what. A why is a belief. Hows are the actions you take to realize that belief, and what are the results of these actions. So everything you say, you do, your product, services, marketing, PR, culture, and who you hire. Okay, so the only way people will know what you believe is by saying the things, by the things you say and do. And if you are not consistent in the things you say and do, no one will believe what you believe. So authenticity, so we always use this word authenticity in a lot of in corporates and even in politicals. However, this instruction is totally unactionable. Okay. Okay, wait. So just by producing high quality products and marketing them, right, does not guarantee success. Authenticity cannot be achieved without the clarity of why, and authenticity matters. Ask the best salesman what it takes to be a great salesman. They will always tell you that it helps when you believe in the product you are selling. So what does belief have to do with a sales job? It is that salesmen actually believe in the thing they are selling, then the words that come out of their mouths are authentic. Okay, and relationships also build trust, and trust will build on loyalty. Okay, so being authentic, right, is not a requirement for success, but it is if you want that success to be a lasting success. So without why, any attempt at authenticity will almost always be inauthentic. Okay, so lastly, this is still half of the chapter. I only do half. Okay, so lastly, right, the whats are important. They provide the tangible proof of the why, but why must always come first. So it remember I show you all the circle, right? Why is in the middle, is it?
Yes, why is in the middle? The golden circle.
Yeah, the golden why,
Why, what, how?
What, then how. Okay, so this is the end of the half a chapter. Okay,
Okay.
4.5 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. So we need to go back to our English language with the difference between noun and verbs. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we need to find actionable verbs as part of our value system. Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Next up, can we for a minute? So next up, can we have Marcus? Then followed by Angela.
Okay. So my book is called The Wealth Dragon Way: The Why, the How, the Why, the When, and the How to Become Infinitely Wealthy by John Lee and Vincent Wong. So chapter 3 is on why wealth dragon. Why is it called wealth dragon? Okay, so money is power. No one can deny that. If you have the money, you have the power to able to do more, see more, learn more, own more, and give more than if you don't have money. So if you don't have a clear idea of what you want to do, see, learn, own, or give, then you probably haven't been too focused on making the money to obtain the power. What comes first though? The money or the power? We believe it's power. We are not born financially wealthy, but we believe that we are all born with a huge amount of potential power. We want to help people understand why it is so important to tap into that power, and then how to harness it in order to achieve whatever they want. So often people ask us about the significance of the word dragon in our company name, why we are called our company Wealth Dragons, and why we talk about teaching people to become wealth dragons. There is a strong message associated with the image of dragon. Initially, a dragon is a mystical creature that has been used for centuries to symbolize different things according to the culture and context. Okay, so dragon appears constantly and prominent in Chinese culture too. The dragon is a national symbol of wealth and good fortune in China. It is very powerful. It's a very powerful symbol. It is also a creature associated with royalty and deities. Historically, the Chinese have believed that the ruling dynasties were intrinsically linked to God, and that the ruler had a divine mandate that could only be challenged if he failed to rule the people well. The dragon symbolizing Chinese royalty is no ordinary dragon due to the fact that it has an extra claw. The 5-clawed dragon is highly revered in China. The emperor always had a 5-clawed dragon on his yellow robes. And if you see a dragon with 5 claws depicted on any object, say a piece of art or furniture, it means that it probably once owned by a Chinese emperor. In the Chinese calendar, the dragon is the luckiest, highest ranked animal. Every 12 years, there is a big baby bloom in China, with people trying to have babies born on the lucky year of dragon. Okay, so we also identify the characteristics of dragon. A dragon is brave, strong, and aggressive. all the qualities that require of a wealth dragon. Courage, what separates the winners from losers? You need courage to face your fears and go through the pain barrier. To get outside of your comfort zone, courage enables you to take action again and again, even after you feel. Strength is what you need to keep you going when the going gets tough. Again, winners are strong, weak people are quitters. It takes real strength to keep getting up every time you get knocked down, to face up to whatever has beaten to you in the past, to believe that this time you will win. Mental and physical strength are required to keep your body and mind as strong as possible. You must eat well, exercise, and get enough sleep. Aggression is not often viewed as an attractive quality, especially in the West. But in the martial arts, it is aggressive spirit that produces the right moves. The most aggressive animals rule the animal kingdom, and the same truth of the human world. Aggressive does not mean destructive. It simply means one who dares to win. If you want to win, you must be aggressive. You must still dress up your aggressive stance in charming and polite outer packaging. Okay, the last few parts are. So we also found that it's not enough simply to educate people. We need to help motivate them. We had to help them to find a big enough why to get wealthy before showing them how to do it. Okay, making money is relatively simple. There's plenty out there and isn't too far to find. Once you find it, it's well within most people's capabilities to get it in perfectly legal and ethical way. What's hard is for people to believe, really truly believe that they are entitled to go and get it. A determined, strong, courageous, active dedication to creating and building wealth is what makes a person a wealth dragon. Yeah, so that's all. So actually my last sentence is the one. So a determined, strong, courageous, and active dedication of creating that wealth. Yeah. So you need to create the wealth, then you got the power. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Marcus. All right, quite straightforward. Okay, a lot to get in also. Yeah.
I forgot to time you, but I think 5 minutes like that.
Yeah, quite long.
Okay, so next up we have Angela.
Yes, my book is Leading Change That Matters. So I'm in chapter 6. 4 more chapter will be finished already. So this chapter 6 is about creating awareness. So if we were to prepare to go live in changes, we need to have that awareness campaign. That's mean the mantra needs to be searching out effectively to the stakeholder. So they pointed out that how do we in order to make awareness, okay, we need to have the kind of engagement, the right story, visual element or theme that speak a universal language to all the stakeholders, either internally or externally. So it means that to make them to make them positively and emotionally to them, and so that they feel it meaningful, and also to have the kind of awareness to the acceptance of the change. All right. So he actually, there is 3 principles that he pointed out, that change is also like a branding concept. So the 3 principles includes a clear, memorable, succinct kind of message, form a foundation of a change campaign. So you need to create a message that is so emotionally compelling and easily repeated, so they feel the pain and the gain inside it as well. And you need to tell a story so that people remember better. So as like we know tell stories about why the change is important, or illustrate the benefits. So that's mean to show them the benefits of the change. So for any change campaign to be successful, the audience need to know what it can do. We need to also have to have the clear about the action you want your people to take, and the way they can start to help each other to change or immediately as well. That means it's not a silo person, but it's actually effectively, you want to do it effectively or the change, everybody must agree, and then we work together to make the change. So how do we communicate with our difference during the change? We need to ask some important questions. Who needs the information to become aware of change? What expectation do you want them to set? So how much information do you need them to disseminate, and how often do you want it need to be disseminated? And how do you ensure consistency to the communication? And which communication channels that we need to use? So in this chapter, it is I will sum up that this is what it's trying to tell us, how to create awareness of the change. So I think it's quite something where I take it, even if I want to make a change in my stakeholder around me, we need to tell them and they need to buy in as well. So like what we are doing right now in this COVID situation. So like what Andrew shared also, the start with your why is, I think it's quite linked. Yeah, all the same. Okay, back to you, Vern.
Yeah, true, Angela. Everything starts with the why. Thank you very much for the sharing. Next up, can we have Winston? After Winston will be Sylvia.
Okay, hi. So the book I'm sharing is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So today I'm at chapter 7. It's about being a good listener, encourage others to talk about themselves. So there was once the author Dale Carnegie. He was at a dinner party. So he was talking to this botanist. So this botany is a topic that he have no clue about. So however, at the end of the party, right, the botanist actually commended Dale for being an interesting conversationalist. And then he was quite shocked because he didn't talk much, because he don't know much about the topic. So what actually he had been doing, right? So actually what Dale had actually been doing was just being a good listener and encouraging the botanist to talk. And he listened intently because he was genuinely interested. And his partner, the botanist, could feel it and naturally please him. So exclusive attention to the person speaking to you is especially important for a successful business intercourse. Yep. So there's this story, right, about a man. He actually owed a company, I think it was a wool company, a small sum of money, but the person denied. So and the credit department actually sent letters to him. So when he received the letters, he was a bit pissed. So he made a trip down to the company, right, to kick up a big fuss. And he threatened like not to patronize the company anymore. So this was when the founders of the company stepped in. So he listened attentively and patiently. He was tempted to interrupt, but he didn't. So when the person finally simmered down and was in a more receptive mood, he started to thank him for his feedback, and eventually, right, the man went back to do a check on his accounts. So he realized that he made a mistake. So he paid up the paid up the money, and together, and also he placed another large order with them. So imagine, right, if the founder didn't listen. So if he just interrupted him halfway through the person's talk, what would have happened? The company would probably have lost a customer, and also the thing wouldn't have been resolved so nicely. There'll be a lot of negative energy flying around. So if we aspire to be a good conversationalist, we must be an attentive listener and be interesting. Sorry. So if we aspire to be a good conversationalist, we must first be an attentive listener. And then to be interesting, we must first be interested. So we ask questions that others will enjoy answering and encourage them to talk about their achievement. So this is my sharing for this chapter number 7 of the book. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vincent. It's reminded me one of the chapter I have was a 3 level of listening. And of course, the act of listening creates credential. At the same time, influence the people. So it should relate to that chapter as well about listening and asking questions.
Oh,
Okay,
Winston, 3 minutes. 我们越来越 effective 了，efficient。
改次我要
Yep, yep.
choose 比较薄一点的书，这样我就我的太 structured 了。Okay, next up, can we have Sylvia? Yes.
Okay, today my sharing is questions are the answers by Ellen Pease on the third chapter, 6 strategic skills for powerful presentation. So the first skill is bridging. Bridging is a technique that keeps the conversation moving and avoids the situation where you might talk too much or your prospect talk too little, which is quite frustrating. Of an open-ended question, they only receive short reply. So we can use powerful bridges like meaning, for example, then so on to keep them talking. So when you use bridge, you do these 3 things: lean forward, palm out, stretch the last letter of the bridge, which the example I give, lean back. After that, lean back and shut up. Do this. This quickly conditions the listener to continue talking for as long as you are leaning back. So skill 2 is the head nod technique. There are 2 head nod technique. First one is if you feel positive, you will start nodding your head. If you nod your head, you will start feeling positive. Second one for nod head is to keep the conversation going. So after the listener gives his answer, you nod your head during his answer. When he finishes speaking, continue to nod your head for another 5 times. Usually the listener will begin speaking again and give you more information. Third skill is using minimal encourages like, I see, really? Tell me more. This can more than double the amount of information the other person gives you. Skill 4 is how to keep eye control. Research shows that the information relayed to a person's brain in a face-to-face presentation, 87% comes via the eyes, 9% via the ears, and 4% through other senses. So to maintain maximum eye control, use a pen to point at your presentation and at the same time verbalize what your prospect sees. Next, lift the pen away from the visual aid and hold it midway between your eyes and the person's eyes and nod your head as you speak. So now when you pull out your pen up, he sees and hears what you are saying, achieving maximum impact of your message. Skills 5 is mirroring. The purpose of this behavior is to create rapport between the participants and avoid conflict. Mirroring makes others feel at ease, creating good vibes. They'll feel that there's something about you they like. But don't mirror too early in a new encounter. Sometimes wiser to wait a few minutes before mirroring. Interestingly, there are differences between men and women in mirroring. A woman reads the meaning of what is being said through the speaker's voice and tones and body language and register her understanding by reflecting those emotions by face. While man uses his body to signal his attitudes and not his face. So we need to be careful. Last skill is pacing. Innovations, voice inflection, and speed of speaking also synchronized during the mirroring process to further establish mutual attitudes and build rapport. Never speak at a faster rate than the other person does. Study reveals that others say they feel pressured when someone speaks faster than they do. Yeah, it's the end of this chapter.
Thank you, Sylvia. This is a very useful chapter that we all can use using the bridging word. So what do you mean by that? Meaning, for example, so that they can continue talking. All right, I see. Very good. Okay, so all right, very good today. How long was that?
4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, today's a very good example, very useful. Thank you, welcome, and of course, congratulations, Sylvia. Do well done. So we look forward to the next chapter. So yeah, next up with myself already. Okay, so today my chapter will be Good Leaders Ask Great Question, chapter 8. And chapter 8 is How Can I Succeed Working Under Poor Leadership? I think most of you will love this chapter. Okay, over here we talk about poor leadership. There's a strategy of finding success when dealing with people who are difficult to work with, because how people treat you is their karma. How you react to it is yours. So over here, there are 8 questions in relation to that. Okay. Now, of course, over here, if things don't go your way as you hope, perhaps it's time to move on. Okay, especially if you're working with someone whom you can't work with, can't click. So the first question: how can you succeed with a leader who is difficult to work with? Because each problem is unique, and there's a process for trying to reach a positive solution. Okay, that's similar. So what can you do? You can firstly consider whether you might be the problem. Okay, instead of the leader, there is a problem. Perhaps you have to think of yourself: are you the one with the problem instead? Okay. So secondly, determine whether you have specific evidence to support your opinion, because the higher the stake, the more important it is for you to provide solid, specific evidence. Third one is to assess your influence and credibility with your leader, because if you're not credible, you have no influence over your leader, no matter what you say, it plays no part. So you need to have the credibility. Now, of course, if you're not sure how credible you are, you can always talk to your co-worker. Now, the fourth one, think through every possible outcome, because you need to discuss with your leaders only if you're willing to accept the outcome. All right. So according to President Abraham Lincoln, he once said, when I am getting ready to reason with men, I spend 1/3 of my time thinking about myself and what I'm going to say. And I spend 2/3 thinking about him and what he is going to say. Okay. So fifth one, make a decision to act, either take action or accept the situation. If you accept it anyway, even though it's negative, never complain about it because you allow it to happen. Number 6, ask to speak with your leader privately. Number 7, outline your complaint, seek collaborative solution. Now, the goal over here is not to ban, not to complain, but rather to seek a positive solution. Meaning to say that you will get your leader to go together to resolve to a situation whereby you can work together positively. Okay. Number 8 is to determine whether you should stay or it's time to move on. All right. And number 9, if you decide you can stay, give your best and publicly support your leader. So question number 2, how would you work with a difficult leader who doesn't like you? Now, most people don't respond it well, especially, so normally what they'll do, they'll hide from the person, they'll hinder the person, they'll harm the person. But the thing is that you cannot control how they respond to you, but you can control how you are and make sure that you're not cause of the problem. So what you can do, you can process your emotion, you can look for common ground, you can be consistently pleasant, you can be a problem solver, going extra mile. All right, so these are some things you can you can do. At least at the end of the day, you are not a problem. Now, third question, how would you work with a difficult leader who lacks vision? Okay, so what you can do in this case, you can tap into organization larger vision instead. You can also identify the vision organization and share it with your leader. You can also develop your own sense of purpose. Okay. And question number 4, how would you work with difficult leader who is indecisive and inconsistent? Okay, so what you can do over here. First of all, you can ask permission to make decision. All right. You can also offer help to your leader to process decision, but of course you offer to them privately. You can also ask what you have to do when a decision must be made. Say for example, you can directly ask them in private, what do you want me to do when the decision must be made, but you aren't making any? So it is actually to keep the ball in their court and get them accountable. Fifth question, how will you work with a difficult leader who has attitude and character problem? Okay, of course, it's a constant struggle when there's an issue with both of you. So what you can do over here is to lift people to a higher level. Okay, what you can do over here is to lift yourself to a higher level, separate yourself from negative influence as much as possible, put things in writing whenever possible to protect yourself. And question number 6, how would you work with a difficult leader who acts like a bully? Okay, so basically don't buy in their selling, and some suggestion is to be confident in your own value. Do not accept blame that doesn't belong to you. Refuse to be a victim. Question number 7, how would you work with a difficult leader who always plays safe? Okay, so you might want to help them by putting yourself in their shoes. So there are 3 questions you can ask the leader. Where have they been? What do they feel? What do they want? Okay, so when you see them in their perspective, you can also help them by acknowledging their feeling and help them to take action. Question number 8, if someone who has a higher position than you do not have good leadership skill, how would you go about running the organization in a respectful way? Of course, you cannot undermine your leader and expect him to be successful. So first of all, you need to understand your leader. Okay. At the same time, you also need to understand your role as support. Bloom where you are planted. That means you take initiative, self-starter, and basically get everything well done and rise above others in the right attitude. Now, of course, lastly, succeed on their terms. At the end of the day, only things you can do is to lead your life. If you don't, others will. Life's greatest reward comes from your inner self, from the choices you make, and how you decide to live under whatever circumstances you find in yourself. That's the end of chapter 8. Thank you. Right? 多久 Hello?
5 minutes 23 seconds.
Okay.
你每次 exceed 的嘞 ，yellow card 你哦。
Okay, at least today 8 questions only. I try to skip a few more things, but the most important thing over here is to how to work with people who is not right, basically. How to work with people who is not right. Not right in the sense that there are probably a lot of different issues. That's assuming that you're not the issues, they are the issue. Okay, but of course, for things to change, we must change first. That's about it. Okay. So, any takeaway from today's session? Anything that you like from any of the books?
Everybody one. Somehow it all link.
Oh, yeah. At the end of the day, when you talk about personal development, sharing somewhere somehow.
Yeah.
Silver one is the mirroring.
Yeah.
The mirroring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mirroring.
So Sylvia, do you know what's mirroring?
Have the pen.
This is also very important when you want to guide along where to read. Yeah.
They say
Okay.
like monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Like maybe
Yeah.
the person you are talking to has some gesture, then after that you slowly like copy what you do. Then maybe the person will feel that feel
You
good.
feel more comfortable, actually.
Yeah,
You feel more comfortable with you ultimately.
Yeah.
This one must be careful because some people are NLP trained or they're people who are sensitive. So if you keep following them, they know what you want to do, and you rebound. Basically, you get a negative effect instead. You know, you try to mirror them.
So how to counter people with NLP then?
Actually, just be yourself.
Correct. Be authentic.
Yeah, that's what I thought of itself.
Be authentic.
Just
At the end of the day,
yourself.
just like what Silver mentioned, don't speak too fast faster than them. There are certain characteristics of a person. At the end of the day, it's all about you being authentic, you being real. And that's why over here, even in leadership, the conversation thing, right? They never talk about NLP. They never talk about mirroring or this kind of thing. It always talk about you find a common ground, commonality. Okay, then talk about it. Then of course, open up yourself so that they open up themselves as well. So before you want your prospect to open up to you, right, you must open up to them first. It's always like that one.
Even though personality tests like right nowadays there's quite a lot, right? They talk about like Enneagram now, all these things. I also don't quite believe in all this because it's trying to stereotype a person also. And so it becomes not the real you also.
But at the end of the day, certain tools, right, is for you to understand yourself better in aspect to your strength. Then you improve on that area. You level up on that area, okay, to make it even better. That's the part whereby you can stand out from other people. You find that this is something that you're better at. Perhaps it's something that you can work on. Let's say, for example, you're more of the relationship person. You're more charisma, that kind of thing. So you work on that area. Yeah. Okay, so that's today's session. So we take one photograph first. Come.
Oh yeah.
That's a big smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me put into the thing.
Today we'll hold a pen because Sylvia said must pen.
Yeah. Okay, so
must 点头.
Actually, if you 点头, right, you also agree to what they are saying. So when they see you nod, right, then they also think that, hey, you're agreeing with them. They also feel happy. Yeah.
But you can say you're not paying attention also, right?
No, you don't nod like that too hard.
No, what I mean is sometimes I see people, when you talk to them, sometimes they nod at me. I say, this person
unless they are falling asleep, they're nodding because they are sleeping soon, is it?
Correct, I did saw someone like that.
Then the eyes close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of today's session. And of course, like I mentioned, do take this opportunity to do your sharing even online with your friends because you will benefit them not just over here in this group, but also benefit them as well. Because I do have some people who usually don't like my post, but also like their post So they like the post that I posted. I never advertise as well, so keep it low profile. But the most important thing is that for me to do what need to be done to have the habit of talking in front of camera and recording. Yeah. So I hope one of you will also do the same as
Wow,
well.
you are good already. You.
No, I'm not good. I am doing it on a regular basis, and I don't care what's the result. I just one shot finish up, okay, and that's about it.
Okay.
You can do it too.
saw.
You can do it too. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So with that, that's the end of today's session. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
and,
Thank you.
have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.